Let's talk about the market for coffee. We'll start with a few statistics. First, coffee consumption. All this data is from US government sources. This is by country, except for the EU, which is a bunch of countries. Coffee is conventionally sold in 60 kilo bags, so that's the unit of report. The European Union consumed 43,125,000 60 kilo bags, so that's a lot. After the EU is the US, Brazil, Japan, Philippines, Canada, China, Indonesia, Russia, and the UK. That's the top 10. Ethiopia, which is where coffee originated, is number 11. And Colombia, also known for coffee, they're down at 16th. But, these are different sizes in terms of population. So let's instead look at coffee consumed per person, per capita sometimes, said, for the top 20 consuming countries in the world. Now we see Switzerland on top, more than 10 kilos per person. Coffee. Followed by Canada with more than 8 kilos per person. Brazil, more than 6. UK, which past centuries was mad for tea, they're a good bit lower. More comparable to South Korea and Japan, which also have a historical cultural affinity for tea. Ethiopia and Colombia don't make the top 10. Now, there is a strong correlation between wealth and coffee. People with more money drink more coffee. You often hear the phrase, correlation isn't causation, and that applies here. Does coffee make people more productive and wealthier? Or is it just coffee is among the good things in life that people with more money buy more of? Probably more the latter. But circular causation makes it difficult to prove. Here's production of Arabica coffee, again 1,060 kilo bags. Arabica is the quality stuff. Specialty coffee is Arabica. Robusta is commodity coffee, although valued for espresso since it gives that crema. Brazil is the behemoth here, growing almost 4 times more than Colombia, which is second. Then Ethiopia is the only African producer in the top 10. Uganda is down at number 13. You can see the impact of the chain of mountains stretching from southern Mexico down to Peru, so many of those countries producing so much coffee. China's a bit of a surprise, but it also has highland areas that are suitable. There are other Asian countries, including India, Indonesia, although much of its coffee would be labeled as Sumatra, the name of one of its islands, Vietnam, PNG. Now, if we looked at Robusta beans, we'd see Vietnam number 1, then Brazil, and then other countries produce a lot less. Those 2 countries produce almost 2/3 of all Robusta beans. Those 2 countries have very different mixes of beans, however. Vietnam produces 30 times more Robusta than Arabica, while Brazil produces half as much Robusta compared with Arabica. Indonesia, Uganda, and India are similar to Vietnam in that they produce more of the inferior beans. Now, what is this coffee worth? It's worth what people are willing to pay for it, ultimately. What price do people pay for coffee? What influences that price? Whew. It really depends on a lot of different things. Coffee is consumed for its taste, plus its pharmaceutical usage, it's a pleasant drug, plus health benefits or costs, plus for enjoyment, the vibe, plus socialization sometimes, plus people's perceptions of choice, status, plus, lots of other things. Rational choice doesn't rule out any of those. People can have complicated preferences. We'll go through a bit more carefully. Taste is obviously crucial, but on the other hand, a lot of people drink bad coffee. Just my opinion, man, but still. Obviously, people want coffee as a convenient caffeine delivery system. Caffeine has a wide variety of important effects on the human body. Gym rats will time their caffeine intake. Caffeine has powered plenty of good GPAs. People debate about the health impacts of coffee. It's different to figure out. There are a lot of other factors. But it doesn't seem bad and might be a little good for a lot of people. People often drink coffee to be in a particular place. We regularly say to an acquaintance, let's get a coffee, where we mean, let's have a conversation and make some connection. Sometimes the place we go might be really nice, might have various amenities, good vibes, or whatever. Or sometimes it might just be a convenient location. Usually it has good Wi-Fi, though. That's important. Plenty of small businesses use their local coffee shop as their office, certainly if they're meeting a client or somebody. People who work remotely will often go to a coffee shop because they want to work while being around people. Retired people will go get together at some place like McDonald's, drink coffee, and chat with friends. Now, of course, once other people are involved, people's choices get even more complicated. How will other people judge my consumption? Somebody who orders a double espresso is perceived differently than somebody who orders cappuccino with extra pumps, extra sweet. Talk to a barista, ask them about how they judge people's orders. Just saying. Some people are proud they go to their corner deli to get inexpensive coffee. Some people are proud they have a good job and can get a cup of that certain global brand there. Some people buy the ethically sourced beans. Perhaps they like the story that's told, or perhaps they want to signal their virtue. There is a wide spectrum of choices, quality. Among the cheapest is you buy instant or buy ground coffee and make it at home. Some people instead buy the beans and grind them so they get more flavor and aroma. Some people buy coffee at different outlets, corner deli, quick service restaurant like Dunkin' or McDonald's, or a specialty shop like Starbucks, other smaller bistro places, restaurants, hotels, etc. Morning choices are often different from other times of the day. Many people have really strong habits about breakfast. Make the exact same choice, at least on weekdays, unlike, for instance, an evening meal. It's just considered normal for a person to eat the exact same thing for breakfast every day, drink the exact same coffee. Eating the same thing each night, that's weird. I'm not saying it's good or bad, just noting that our society considers certain behaviors to be normal and others to be weird. Why is that? You don't have to go along. You can be the sort of person who enjoys variety, at least sometimes. Choice of morning caffeine can be part of a person's self-presentation. I'm the sort of person who drinks blank. Right? The overall story matters. Certain brands of beans are not really different, but a grocery store sells them for more because people want that brand. A hotel will usually offer coffee to guests, and the hotel brand will try to make sure to integrate the coffee brand. More expensive hotels will offer more expensive coffee brands. The cost at a coffee shop depends on commute and is very sensitive to convenience. In the suburbs, a shop on the right-hand side of a busy road in the area where a lot of people work has a lower time cost than a shop with a left-hand turn in and out. The drive-thru is also important. So is the app. Changes to people's commute patterns, such as more WFH, those feed in as well. Now, for people consuming coffee at home, there are lots of choices of beans. Caffeinated or decaffeinated, instant, already ground, beans you have to grind yourself, pods, the type of roast, usually just light, medium, dark. Note that doesn't really change the caffeine content. Some beans are ethically sourced. Maybe they're labeled fair trade or organic or something similar. We'll talk more about those later. But each type of bean is a different price. Now, of course, different retail sources themselves charge different prices, even selling the same thing. So the cost of coffee, or cost of caffeine, if you want to put it that way, it's a complicated mixture of money and time and effort. Pods, for instance, are not high quality. They're not cheap in money terms either, but they're quick and easy. Effort, includes executive functioning. Lots of people want a low-thought, easy option in the morning. Press one button. That's all they're up for before they've had too much caffeine. Other people create a routine and learn to appreciate the process of, grinding and brewing. People's choice about coffee also depends on other options available. There are plenty of other caffeine delivery systems that are out there. Tea, soda, energy drinks, whatever. It's remarkable that so many different plants evolved to produce caffeine. It's a potent pesticide. The soda and energy drinks might get caffeine from the stuff taken out of coffee beans to make decaf coffee, but more commonly it's from other sources, including sometimes chemically synthesized. People's choices about coffee also depend on other goods that are complementary to coffee. Many people drink their coffee with milk and sweeteners. If the shop says, sorry, we're out of milk, then some people will not get a coffee. They'll get maybe a soda instead. Milk can be dairy milk, or soy milk, or almond milk, or oat milk, coconut milk, or whatever product. Sweeteners can be sugar, honey, or corn syrup, or various artificial sources, the pink packet or the yellow one, whatever. And then there are other flavorings, hazelnut or pumpkin spice or mint or whatever else. So all those prices matter as well. Whether people buy from a shop that has to factor in all the costs or whether they make coffee at home, those other costs do matter. All of which means we talk about the price that people pay for coffee. It's not exactly a simple price. The world's complicated. But still, we can simplify down and say that coffee consumption depends on the price of coffee, remembering that price bundles a lot of different factors, including the dollar price, convenience factors, all the rest. Coffee consumption also depends on income. Recall that earlier slide showing that countries with richer people drink more coffee. Certainly people with higher incomes can spend more money on coffee, whether they drink more cups or just higher quality. Poorer countries drink more instant coffee. Coffee consumption depends on the price and availability of substitutes, such as tea or soda, other stuff. Energy drinks are relatively recent. Years ago, they were much less available. Coffee consumption depends on price and availability of complements, such as milk and sugar. All of which to say, if the price of coffee rises, and it recently has, talk about that more later, then there will be a lot of changes made. Some people might buy less. Instead of a large, they'll get a smaller cup. Or they'll brew less coffee and fill in with milk. Or buy cheaper, less preferred coffee. They won't buy the ethically sourced, or they'll buy instant. Or they'll not go to that bougie store and instead go to the cheaper place. Or maybe they might just drink less coffee. But not everybody. Some people will just pay the higher price.